It's interesting that this matchup is happening so early on in the tournament, but it's going to be good. So I think from what I can tell, at the top edge of your screen is going to be the Asuryani, and the bottom edge is going to be the Tyranids deployment zone, unless they decide to switch sides. That's currently where they are set up. Right. Objectives are not infinitely tall. I know some people run them that way, but not in Kill Team. I'm just talking to a pirate right now who happens to be the lead, one of the developers for Best Coast Pairings, getting some things worked out for Kill Team specifically. Okay, it is the strategic advantage roll. Just went down. And yes, the top side of your screen will be the Asuryani player. So, here are the teams that both these teams mustered for this game. We've got the Dire Avenger Exarch. This is for Michael's Asuryani team that you may have seen on yesterday's stream. So they are the Baeltan sub-faction. So they're going to be rerolling ones, mostly with their Shuriken weapons. We've got a Dire Avenger Exarch, who's the veteran specialist. We've got a Striking Scorpion Exarch, who's a combat specialist. We've got a Dire Avenger Comm specialist. We've got a Storm Guardian Gunner with Flamer. We've got a Storm Guardian Gunner with Fusion Gun. We've got a Guardian Defender Leader. And then we have 4 Storm Guardians with Chainswords and Shuriken Pistols. And then a heavy weapons platform with Star Cannon for the Asuryani. And then for the Tyranids, this is a really interesting team. So we've got a warrior leader, and they're the Kraken sub-faction. The Kraken sub-faction, which I believe gives them 3 dice on their advance rolls, and they can charge after a model falls back. I will double check on that. They have a warrior heavy specialist with Venom Cannon. They have a warrior leader with Death Spitter and Bone Swords. They have a Ravener combat specialist with 2 Scything Talons and Adrenal Glands. We have a Ravener veteran with 2 Scything Talons. We have a Ravener non-specialist Ravener with 2 Scything Talons, and then 2 Hormagaunts with Scything Talons. So there's only 7 models on this elite Tyranid kill team. This is so interesting. All right, so we're just proceeding through deployment. It looks like we have a bunch, mostly Storm Guardians going down for the Asuryani. So it looks like we have those models with the white claws, those 3 models with the gray exoskeleton and white claws are the 3 Raveners. One of the warriors is in the blue for the Tyranids. Then we have 2 Hormagaunts deployed. Looks like we just have the Tyranid leader with Death Spitter being deployed near the center of the board. So the two blue Tyranid warriors are the leader and heavy specialist, and then two of the Raveners are one of the Raveners is a veteran specialist, and one of the Raveners is a combat specialist. I believe this yellow token is probably indicating the combat specialist or possibly the veteran. And it looks like the star cannon has deployed for the Asuryani player. This could be a rough shooting phase for the Asuryani, but we'll see how that goes. Yes, General Grimdark, those are 3 Raveners. I'm so curious to see how this goes.
Oh yeah, so the way we've been playing is that it needs to land in the box for it to count. Yeah. Just to stay consistent.
Fair enough. I think I'd like to go first. True.
All right, that was the initiative phase, and it looks like the
What was that roll for again? Exactly?
Second.
What was that roll for?
That was for initiative for the first turn.
Okay.
That's important. Not likely to succeed.
so it looks like neither player used their veteran tactic. Curiouser and curiouser. Though I have a feeling they may both remember. Maybe not. Looks like we're going straight to the movement phase. So it looks like the Dire Avenger Exarch has moved up underneath that walkway towards the center of the map. Let's see if we can't see him from the other angle. Yes, he is underneath that walkway right there. And we have some advances coming up. Looks like a Dire Avenger advanced around towards the left side of the board. Lots of advancing coming up from these Storm Guardians. And I believe the Eldar Storm Guardian with Flamer is sort of at the top center of the map. Oh, and that reddish colored model is the Striking Scorpion Exarch, who's moving on to Objective 3. Objective 3 is the objective that is towards the top side of the map, and Objective 4 is the objective towards the bottom side of the map. So that is the Striking Scorpion Exarch. Some models staying out of line of sight behind these Mechanicus terrain. And that is it for the Eldar's movement phase. Now we're on to the Tyranids. Let's see what they can do. Sometimes going second in the movement phase for kill team is beneficial. Let's check out some of those Raveners. So two of those blue Tyranids are the warriors. The red one is a Ravener, and there's 3 of those. So first a Gaunt is moving up, hiding behind that large piece of terrain in the center. So we'll see how fast these Tyranids can make their way across the tabletop. Hey, thanks, Ghost X9. Yes, I did, Glass Half Dead. Sorry you missed it, but I can tell you real quick. The Tyranid team is essentially 3 Raveners, 2 Warriors, 1 is a leader and 1 is a heavy with Venom Cannon, and 2 Hormagaunts. And the Asuryani list has a Dire Avenger Exarch, a Striking Scorpion Exarch, a Dire Avenger Comms, 2 Storm Guardian Gunners, 1 with Flamer, 1 with Fusion Gun, a Guardian Defender with Shrieking Catapult, and then 4 Storm Guardians with Chain Swords and a Heavy Weapon Platform with Star Cannon. So we've got these 12-inch move Raveners who are going to be moving across the tabletop and trying to position themselves so they don't get blasted off the table immediately by this Asuryani shooting team. Believe Utsugul did win his first game. Alright, so we have a Ravener moving towards the center. He is the Kraken sub-faction, which I will read to you guys right now from the sweet, very new-smelling Elite book. The new Codex smell. So the Hive Fleet adaptation is Kraken. When a model on your kill team advances, roll 3d6 and pick the highest, which is added to the movement characteristics, I guess advances are. In addition, if a model on your kill team started the movement phase within 1 inch of an enemy model, and but when you pick it to move, there are no enemy models within 1 inch, that model can make a charge attempt instead of falling back or remaining stationary. That is by far the best. So we've got an advancing Ravener. And he rolled a 6 for the advance for one of the Raveners. Whew, they are fast. see if they can survive the shooting, though. I know they're not the most durable units I've ever seen. So there's a lot of guns that he is trying to maneuver around with the terrain to try his best to stay out of line of sight from the star cannon and all the shrieking catapults. So that is the veteran specialist Kraken, or Ravener. Who advanced. So trying to see what he wants to do with his Tyranid warriors and one Ravener left. In the moving phase of Battle Round 1. Yes, I agree, Zappin' 2. It would be nice if there was a little more, I guess you could call it balance with those sub-factions. But I think their main purpose is, I guess, to be have a narrative aspect to them in some way. I know the Space Marine chapter tactics are pretty interesting, but yeah, some of them are clearly better than others from a rules point of view. We've got another advance coming out from this Ravener in the bottom left-hand corner, and he can go his full move distance, which is 18 inches, I believe, with his 12-inch regular move plus the 6-inch advance. So he's just marking where the model is so that he can see where he can move to. He really wants to be, he's trying to make sure that he's out of or in line of sight. From that star cannon, I think, is the main gun that he's trying to avoid with the Raveners.
Yeah.
I'm surprised these are actually. Oh shit! I can see under the tree. Under the tree.
Okay.
Yeah. So now in this case, this guy is blocked by this Guardian.
Okay.
This guy can see.
Okay, so this guy can be seen?
He cannot.
Okay,
The
that's
Guardian.
this guy right now. Gotcha. So if I move further up,
I think that's good. I can't see it. We'll call that.
So they are just determining that neither of the Raveners can be seen by the star cannon through there's trees. So you can see some of the trees there. There's ladders, walkways, more trees, and so there is enough line of sight blocking terrain between those two models that the star cannon can actually not see either of those Raveners. That's what they have agreed was their intent for the placement, and both players are okay with that. Still surprised neither player used their veteran move at the beginning of the game. May have been a mistake by both of them, but I'll be interested to see what they have to say about that after. Hey, nice KTA Servitor.
so the edge of your base will be at the edge of that tree.
This is the two. The reason I'm doing the two is if I get past with the two, then the three is enough. So I'm gonna.
Lots of positioning and measuring going on to determine what models can see and who is within certain distances.
Yep.
See, if you look at the 2, and look where the end of the 2 is, that's where that's where you would have to be with the front of your edge to be with edge. So now, I'm going to go 3.
Looks like we had a charge attempt, I believe. Or potentially an advance.
Sorry, what are you measuring for right now?
We're trying to see if we can fit through the ladder.
He can't get through the ladder, but I can. I'm seeing if I can test the ladder enough that he can't get in the melee with me. It looks like I can, so now we gotta see if I can push my ball through.
Ah.
So,
So they're trying to see there's a ladder. Oh, actually, let's see if we can see it from the other angle.
and that's an important tree.
You can actually use another base too.
Sorry about that. Thought for sure I turned that off. There we go.
So he's gonna do that.
So they're trying to see if you can see that ladder.
So it's not to say you can't get him. You're just gonna have to do it.
Up and over.
You'd have to go around the other edge or around the other. If you get a big roll, you'll still get it. Sure. But I'm gonna take that chance.
So this Dire Avenger Exarch
I don't believe. I can do it on a 6.
No, not on a 6. You want to re-roll it? I don't know what number you need.
I can't.
He's more by multiple wounds. He's more
So he retreated from a charge from
You have to get as close to me as you could over the giant threat. So you'd be hiding right in there.
a Ravener, I believe, is charging around the base of this, and when he retreated, the Dire Avenger Exarch was able to fit through that space between that ladder and the main piece of terrain in the middle. And he was not able to make the charge because he retreated, and the Ravener cannot fit through that gap on the between the ladder and that main piece of terrain in the center. So the Ravener is now underneath that piece of terrain.
In retrospect, I probably would have declared another target if I knew you could have got away over that.
Right under that arrow by the yellow barrels. And he couldn't quite get to the Dire Avenger Exarch, who retreated right there.
Sure. I mean, it still would have been worth a couple extra. Sure.
He's also going to have hit one. Because he just had a general
So the Ravener was not able to make that charge, unfortunately. And now he's in full line of sight of the Star Cannon, I believe. Could be an easy choice for the Asuryani player in the shooting phase. Yes. Yes, KJ Servitor. He hit that ladder and couldn't get through it. All right, and that is it for the movement phase. No psychic phase. We're on to the shooting phase. So the Asuryani player has the initiative. We've got the Star Cannon, who is readied. Targeting the Ravener, I believe. 2 hits. Toughness 4, wounding on 3s. 1 wound. AV minus 3, no save. D3 damage. He has 3 wounds, so the Ravener is down to 1 wound. Underneath that walkway. That was the only readied model for the Asuryani, so we've got the heavy specialist Venom Cannon.
Now he's starting the Exarch I wanted to shoot. But, say la vie. I guess I'll shoot the shuriken throw.
So he's going to shoot the Dire Avenger Exarch.
I'm within half range, so it'd be normal. So D3 shots.
One shot, D3 shots. Siege roll to 1 for that. Hits. Wounding on a 2, strength 8. Wounds, minus 2 AP. 4 up invul save for the Dire Avenger Exarch. Fails his invul save, and he's going to spend the tactical reroll tactic to reroll that with 1 command point. And he makes the invulnerable save. So now it's the non-readied shooters. Looks like the Asuryani player is trying to decide who he wants to shoot it with. I'm assuming he wants to keep shooting at that Ravener with 1 wound remaining. Probably wants to try and remove him underneath that walkway, because he is also standing on that objective as well.
Okay, so you got the 4.
So the Dire Avenger Exarch retreated and is not able to shoot. He's not a Tau flyer, that's for sure. So we've got the fusion gun as Storm Guardian is sort of in the top right-hand corner behind that. So we've got the Flamer. 2 wounds on the Revener. 5 up saves. Injury roll. And he is a flesh wound. He is obscured, so that injury roll of 4 just gave him a flesh wound. For that Ravener that's stuck out in the open there. So now it looks like we have the Death Spitter leader. And it looks like he's within 6 inches, so he's going to attempt to Flesh Hooks and Death Spitter from the warrior, or from the...
So it's a weird. I think it is an assault.
Yes, it's assault.
It's assault. But it can shoot into combat, even if you charge. It's really weird.
If you get charged. If you do
If you
charge.
get charged, yeah. Correct. Yeah.
So yes, he's able to shoot the Flesh Hooks and the Death Spitter.
So that'll be 1 hit.
This is the Death Spitter first on the Dire Avenger Exarch. 1 hit, 1 wound, minus 1 AP. 4 up invul save. On to the injury roll. And he has 2 wounds, so he just takes a wound. And now the Flesh Hooks. On to the Exarch. And he misses. On to the rest of the Asuryani shooting. So the Dire Avenger Exarch, or the Striking Scorpion Exarch, is throwing a plasma grenade at the Ravener. He got 5 attacks from that grenade, 2 hits, and no wounds. We've got 3 attacks. 2 attacks coming from a shrieking weapon, I believe. Onto the... One of them is AP minus 3. And he is out of action. Ravener, 1 Ravener down. We've got a long shot fusion gun shot, and he misses. We've got some single shot. Does wound. And that is a armor save for the Ravener. One last shrieking weapon. Rerolling ones. Gets the hit. Does wound. And another armor save. 6 armor saves for the Ravener. Crazy. I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the next. No fights in the fight phase. So there is the end of Battle Round 1. On to the scoring. Surprisingly, it looks like neither player has any models on Objective 1. Unless there's one under there that I can't see. Let's get a shot of those Raveners while the players are doing the scoring. No! Hold on, gotta turn on that camera. Sorry about that. Gonna try to preserve that battery. Got a stack of like 4 camera batteries behind me because it runs out quite often. Camera, you can do it. I may have to replace the battery again.
You got a few. Okay, domination's yours.
Ooh, those batteries run out fast.
What's the bonus on this one?
The bonus is being on your opponents with a specialist.
Okay,
Which is why I was really hoping to make that charge.
sure. Okay, so 4 to 2.
4
4 to him.
4 to him, 2 to you. Okay. All right, we got the score after Battle Round 1. And the score is 2 for the Asuryani and 4 for the Tyranids. On to Battle Round 2.
Who won the initiative?
Okay. So it looks like the Asuryani have won the initiative again. So the Eldar will be moving their models first. Moving his models first.
So often, probably,
All right. See if we can get some shots of these up-close shots while Michael's moving his Eldar models. Looks like the Striking Scorpion might be about to attempt a charge of some kind. He's doing some measuring. Come on, camera. Looks like the camera is not working at the moment, unfortunately. Sorry about that. They're trying to see what the distance is. So it looks like we have a 9 and 10-inch charge to get from the Striking Scorpion to get to the Gaunt and the Leader Warrior. He's trying to decide if he wants to make that charge attempt. All right, we've got an advance instead. From a Storm Guardian, I believe, up onto Objective 1. Another advance. Another advance roll. sure exactly which model he's advancing with. Okay. It's another Guardian Defender in the top left-hand corner. Trying to see where he can advance to with that roll of a 5. So I guess he just moved up a little bit and stayed along that left side of the board. And measuring some distances to those 2 Raveners on objective 2. Okay, it looks like a Storm Guardian is readying on the right side. The other Storm Guardian is backing up. The Dire Avenger Exarch is just moving across, still touching that the edge of that objective, and potentially moving probably out of line of sight of the Tyranid shooters, is my guess. Michael is very meticulous with all of his movements because the movement phase in Kill Team can be, looks like the Star Cannon has moved to the other side of that Mechanicus and tree in the top left-hand corner. In order to get a better range of the entire battlefield, or a better point of view to the entire battlefield. Hey, Chaotic Vermilion. Thanks for the lemons, guys. That's strange to happen too. I'm not 100% sure why that's happening. I know they've changed that aspect of of the little chest thing recently, so it could just be a temporary bug. Michael is carefully trying to determine what he wants to do with that striking scorpion. So the striking scorpion is targeting the Gaunt and the Ravener, and he rolls a 3. So he is not going very far. But he is choosing not to move because it is a failed charge. So he is just going to... he's going to spend the command point. Still doesn't quite make it, but... He will also stay put. So he re-rolled that charge, failed it, and now it is up to the Tyranid player to see what he can do. Striking Scorpion is just staying there. Looks like we have another failed charge. Both players having a tough time with their charge rolls. I'm not sure who that was that failed that charge.
Sorry, what was that roll for?
That was Hormigan trying to charge this.
Okay. So the Hormigaunt underneath this walkway that you can kind of see his tail right there was trying to charge the Direvenger Exarch on the other side, and he just didn't make it, so he's just going to stay stationary. We have another charge attempt from the Ravener over to the Storm Guardian on the right side of the board. Looks like we're going to have some Overwatch being made, or potentially some retreating. And he's going to retreat.
I'm a melee guy. I don't want to be on the open. I'm going out in the open so I can get close to
That's a long charge, 9 or 10. Definitely not going to make it. And now it looks like we might have another charge coming.
No, it's any weapon. Just whatever you got. It only hits on 6.
From a Ravener or two. We have a question from one of the players. Stand by.
Yeah, it says that it's a little worded a little strange, but it does say that they count as, or they don't count as having charged, but you can't shoot or something like that.
Sure. Okay. But I'm asking more from if I make the charge into him, then since you have the initiative, if he counted as charging, he would go first. Okay. That's what I was getting at.
Right.
He was just having a little question that if he gets charged, he doesn't count as charging in the fight phase. Ooh, looks like we have a Ravener just moving up there and not even charging, right next to that Striking Scorpion Exarch.
What's going on?
Retreat after failing a charge? Asking all the hard questions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The question is, can he retreat after failing a charge? I don't believe so. But we're just going to double check to make sure. I'm pretty sure the answer is no, but... All right, so we have a very quick match that finished on one of the other tables. So we're wondering if you can react. It would be if you can react, really, at all.
Yeah, it explicitly says you can't shoot.
Right.
It doesn't say anything about react. I did not. I mean, I guess I probably could fall back, but it's not really you have to be a finished charge to fail.
Sure. Well, if you scoot it back a little bit, that would make it more.
We're just making sure that we have this really correct. It's pretty important in this Close game.
Probably roll it off for now, just to move forward. Because you just make a decision. Sure. We're rolling off to see how we're going to play it for now. Unless this is not so I can't react.
The model cannot retreat if it's already made a move of any kind or attempted to charge.
I mean, assuming I live, you never know.
So that Ravener veteran did not charge there.
He did not charge.
Okay,
Just moved.
got it.
I'm gonna be charging.
Right.
It's gonna happen.
He's going to use a Tyranid tactic to get that charge off after moving up next to the Striking Scorpion Exarch.
Scary Star Cannon.
He's really trying to stay out of line of sight of that Star Cannon as well. Yeah, the close-up camera has been a little finicky today, or this weekend, I should say. Oh, we have a score that just came in. I'm just going to quickly grab all the stuff from the players. 1 second. All right, so in another matchup, it looks like the Harlequins were defeated by the Necrons. Interesting. 13-6. So the Necrons, let's see if I got that right. Yes, the Necrons defeated the Harlequins. Was that an all flayed ones? And that was an all flayed one list for the Necrons that defeated the Harlequins. 13-6 in one of the other matches. So we've still got the Tyranids moving. Looks like we had a couple of failed charges from the Tyranid warriors underneath that. Or sorry, a failed charge from the Hormigaunt, and the Tyranid warriors just moved underneath that objective in the middle. Or underneath that walkway near the center. Looks like we've got a charge. Yes, this is the metabolic overdrive charge from the Ravener onto the Striking Scorpion Exarch. who had failed his charge earlier in the round. Earlier in the movement phase, I should say. Okay, now we're on to the shooting phase. So there's no ready models for the Tyranids. And the Eldar Asuryani have the initiative, so he would get to shoot with either a readied model or a non-ready model, if there are any readied models. So underneath this walkway, we have the Dire Avenger Exarch. Sorry, the close-up camera is not cooperating right now, and he is going to shoot at one of the warriors, I believe. He has 2 guns. He gets 1 hit. Does not wound. All right, now the Venom Cannon for the Tyranids warrior is going to shoot next. And I believe he's one of these 2 warriors underneath the bridge there. Trying to tell. So the Venom Cannon is actually the model that you can see sticking out from underneath that walkway, and he is going to shoot next. I'm not sure what he is targeting. So he's going to target this Storm Guardian on the edge of the board up there. He gets 2 shots, D3 shots. Hitting on 5s. And he misses. Over to the Eldar's non-ready next shooter. Oh, it was just the other game that finished was just one game. It was just the Harlequins. Sorry, I have a question.
Sorry?
I think maybe I wanted it so bad that I chose not to.
I mean, that could be.
Well, that's okay. Wounds and wounds.
So one damage has gone on to one of the Ravener on objective 2. And now we're back to the Tyranids shooting phase, and so the leader with Death Spitter and Flesh Hooks is underneath. And he's going to shoot at the flesh-wounded Dire Avenger Exarch. Underneath is the Death Spitter. 1 hit. Does not wound. And then the Flesh Hooks. 2 hits with the Flesh Hooks. 1 wound. 4 up, save. Makes the armor save. All right, now on to the next Eldar shooting model for non-ready shooters. So it looks like the Star Cannon is up next. And he is potentially shooting. So hitting on 4s, and he misses. Now we have the Dire Avenger. Just a regular Dire Avenger shooting. And he missed again. I believe this is shooting at He's gotten a flesh wound, just trying to see. I think he's shooting one of the gaunts. I'm pretty sure. It's one of the only thing you can see. Oh, and that was actually that's a flesh wound on the gaunt underneath that walkway near objective 4. Lots of shooting from these shuriken weapons from the Eldar. We got a pistol shot into the Ravener, and he misses. And that is it for the shooting phase. And I believe the only fight we have going on is that Ravener that charged. Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s against the.
So 1 miss. And then on 3s, is strength 4.
Strength 4, wounding on 3s. 4 wounds on the Striking Scorpion Exarch from the Ravener.
Failures. So now's the time. Now's the time. 2 fails. One of them.
Okay. Cool. All right.
And he used the tactical reroll immediately to reroll one of his armor saves. And now he is going to swing back at the Ravener. Hitting on 3s. 3 hits from the Striking Scorpion Exarch. Wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. AP -1, 6 up save. 1 save. Takes 1. Oh, it takes 2 damage from the 2 damage weapon from the Striking Scorpion. And he has 1 wound remaining. And that's it for the fight phase. That was the only fight going on. Now they're determining the score. So they both got 2 for the primary objectives. Looks like the Eldar got scout the field. Did not take any models out of action.
And I'll get an engage on all fronts.
Looks like the Tyranids got engage on all fronts. Potentially.
This guy didn't make it in. Yep. Okay. Cool. Yep. That's all good.
Okay.
It looks like the score is 5-7 for the Tyranids. Oh, because he got domination for holding the center of the board. The Tyranids did. 5-7 for the Tyranids going into battle round 3. This is a relatively neither team has lost any models yet.
Who won the initiative there again?
He did.
Again, okay, so for the 3rd time in a row, the Eldar player has won the initiative. So he'll be moving all of his models first in battle round 3. Ooh, this is gonna be close. This elite Tyranid army pulling out the elite models. Just stapling. So yes, the only other score that's come in so far is the Harlequins losing to the Flayed One Necron team. So the Michael Eldar is deciding what he wants to do in the movement phase. 1 second, I just have a question. Be right back. All right, Michael is just contemplating his movements very carefully in this intense game.
This guy's technically standing right here.
Yep. He just felt like a lot.
So we have an advance happening. From the this is the Dire Avenger Exarch veteran with Flesh Wound. He's advancing around to try and get onto that bonus objective, objective 4. If he manages to hold that from the 2 Gaunts camping out there, laying eggs or whatever they're doing. Looks like we have another advance from an Eldar model. That is a Storm Guardian trying to make it under there. Onto objective 4. Really going hard for that objective. It's really interesting that neither team has lost a single model yet this game. Have another advance. From a, ooh, that is the Flamer Storm Guardian Gunner, moving up within, basically within 1 inch of both of those warriors. I think he's trying to attempt to kind of block the warriors in. There's a ladder right here, just to the left of objective 2, and there's not a very large space on the other side of that ladder underneath that walkway, so the warriors would not be able to go around that Flamer Gunner. They have to go through him. I find it actually kind of funny that neither team has decided to do anything up on top of this walkway due to all of the deadly shooting from venom cannons and star cannons and things like that. Everyone is keeping it on the ground, boots on the ground in this team, for both teams. Oh, we have another advance. They are really crowding around that center point. And that was another that was the Dire Avenger actually that just moved under there, or advanced underneath the arrow. Yep. Michael's just running the bathroom while the Tyranid player does all of his moves. But we've got all of you to keep an eye on him while Michael's gone. Measuring for some potential charges. Oh, it looks like he's just moving up onto objective 3 with a Ravener outside of 1 inch. That was just a regular move with that Ravener. Are both those Raveners specialists?
Say again?
Are both those Raveners specialists?
Just this one.
Ah, okay. So just the veteran specialist is the only specialist on that objective for the 2 Raveners, who's still in combat with that striking Scorpion Exarch, who gave him a quick hit to the head.
Leader counts as specialist or no?
Yeah,
It does?
yeah. But not. Sorry.
Does leader count as a specialist for this?
Yes, but not for high profile targets. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and do this closest one and then a Storm Guardian.
All right, we've got a charge being initiated from a Hormigaunt into the Storm Guardian. We have Overwatch being made. 3 shots.
Good thing I make it on 3.
He needed 3 inches to make that charge, and he makes it. Overwatch did not result in any hits.
I'll go to follow up with this one again in the same combat.
He's going to charge with another Hormigaunt into the same Storm Guardian.
Oh shit! What happened? You made the charge.
That's just a move.
Oh no. That was expected.
This is going to be very interesting. We've got the 2 Raveners bearing down on the striking Scorpion Exarch. He's most likely going to use Metabolic Overdrive to close that distance and make that charge a little bit later. So measuring some distances, probably for some Venom Cannon shooting, I have a feeling.
I'm going to advance the heavy. Go to 5.
Oh, you'd be surprised. This board looks more open than it actually is. They've actually not had a problem blocking line of sight in this game by properly positioning their models. So it looks a little deceiving because that centerpiece is actually really wide, and it blocks that entire sort of 6-inch area in the middle. And there's a lot of trees and walkways and things like that. So it's deceiving. I know from up above it looks like it's wide open, but there's a lot of 3-dimensional terrain. If I could get the camera working, you'd be able to see from the side how it looks. But unfortunately, every time I switch to that other camera, see if it works now. No, it does not. I don't know why. See if it works now. Nope.
Where'd you like this Venom Cannon?
So the Venom Cannon has moved over onto Objective 2, the Venom Cannon Heavy Specialist Warrior. Three wounds on those Raveners really coming in handy up on that objective up top.
So you are within 1 of this ladder. So I'm going to go ahead and charge.
So the leader underneath this walkway, the Venom Spitter leader, is charging the
I mean, it can happen.
So he gets 1 wound on the leader from the Overwatch, from the Dire Avenger Exarch. And now he will make his charge move. The leader is underneath that walkway. And he just needs to go 6 inches, so he will make it. And he will go back under the walkway. So that's a successful charge by the Tyranid warrior leader onto the Dire Avenger Exarch. Looks like that's the end of the movement phase.
I mean, yeah, I'm using my 2 for that same thing. Yeah.
So he used Metabolic Overdrive to get that charged off on the Ravener onto the Striking Scorpion. So he's been charged twice. Or actually, one of them, I believe, didn't charge, but that Ravener did charge. So the only Tyranid model not in close combat is the warrior with Venom Cannon over by Objective 2. So we are into the shooting phase, but there's not going to be a lot of things to target other than that warrior. All right, we have another result, and this is between Sheldon with his Necrons and Eric with his Tau. And it looks like it was another close one, and the score is 16 for the Tau and 12 for the Necrons. So the Tau took the victory. I'm just going to double check to see what the rosters they used were for that game. Oh, and we're quickly on to the fight phase. And it looks like he just got a flesh wound. Oh, sorry, that was the shooting phase. So he's going to be shooting a few more times at that only target, really, that they can target right now. That Tyranid warrior with Venom Cannon on Objective 2. He had some misses and failed wounds. So the Flamer, 5 shots, 2 wounds, no AP. And he does not get. So he's re-rolling that injury roll. He just needs a 3, and he is out of action. So that Tyranid warrior with Venom Cannon just got taken out by the Flamer. And I don't think there's any other targets actually for the Eldar to shoot at in this shooting phase. They're all locked in combat. Let's see if we can't get you a couple of close-up shots.
2 hits. 2 wounds. 6
I'm worried about that. You see who I've been fighting with first time. Honestly, I should be. I've gotten fairly lucky so far.
Ooh, I think we've got a solution. So this is the fight phase. Hitting Hormagaunts. Test with the mic. Oh yeah, it's working. Sorry about that. Had some technical difficulties attempting to fix the camera and it crashed OBS. Okay, so everyone survived. One Ravener got taken out of action by the Striking Scorpion Exarch, but he did. They do have a flesh wound on the Striking Scorpion Exarch. And what took out that guy? The Dire Avenger Exarch.
Killed by my Tyranid warrior leader.
Ah, okay. So the Tyranid warrior leader took out the Dire Avenger Exarch on that objective.
That makes it hard to roll bad. 4 hits, I believe I estimated 4 hits.
Yeah.
You still have a chance to roll bad. Let's see if you take it. 3? Well, that's more or less an estimate.
And this is the attacks on the Striking Scorpion?
Yeah.
We have the Striking Scorpion from the non-charging Raveners. He got a whole bunch of wounds. He needs these armor saves. Didn't quite do it. On to the injury roll. No command points. And he is out of action. Whew, that is going to be tough for the Eldar to come back from, I think. That Striking Scorpion Exarch off that objective. And that is the veteran specialist for the Tyranids who is holding that bonus objective for this Hot Shots mission. Whew, that was crazy. And also sorry that it had a crash right during that exciting moment. But we're back. So now they are calculating points at the end of Battle Round 3. I'm just going to get the totals afterwards. I'm not exactly sure. I know nobody's controlling that objective. Okay, the Tyranids have 2 objectives. The Eldar have 1. I think you're going to see the Tyranids potentially pulling away. Ooh, this is crazy. Looks like we might get to see the... There's still one more turn, though.
What's the total of the score after that?
It's not good. It's 8 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. I'm missing the whole third round of you.
13.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You always have 2, right?
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What's what have I got wrong? Oh, you got a 3 domination.
Yeah, 3 domination and 1 helper.
So just getting those points. So it looks like the score is 13-8 for the Tyranids so far, going into Battle Round 4. Oh, bae. This is going to be a close one.
Whatever you're.
So this is the initiative roll for Battle Round 4. And the Eldar have won for the 4th time in a row, have won the initiative roll, which is against the melee team with a shooting team is, I think, not necessarily always the way that you want it to go. It allows the melee-focused team to adjust your movement because you have to move all of your models first in the movement phase.
Which is it's not impossible. Shoot two obviously a couple of Hormagaunts. And I have plenty of things to shoot. Most likely he will
Yes, that is the cursed camera. Sorry for a delayed response on that chat. So 2 other results that have come through. The Necrons defeated, the Tau defeated the Necrons, and I know I said this before, but the Flayed Ones and the other Necrons defeated the Harlequins. So 1 Necron win and 1 Necron loss. So Michael's just trying to see how he wants to move his models. He has moved a Guardian Defender, or no, that's the Flamer Storm Guardian. Yeah, the Storm Guardian with Flamer moved up onto Objective 3 in front of the other Ravener. The Ravener veteran who already has two wounds on him. He may have to just attempt that charge. Otherwise, he'll just get flamed anyways. He moved a Storm Guardian over to Objective 2. And that is the Storm Guardian with Fusion Gun.
No, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
All right, so we got some advancing, or no, just moving Dire Avenger down the left side of the board. Ooh, and the Star Cannon moved over to Objective 1. It makes it a little harder for the Star Cannon to hit when he is moving that much. We have an advance trying to get towards the center of the table. With a Guardian Defender or Storm Guardian. He's hidden underneath that walkway. But he's just obviously trying to get within 3 inches of the center of the battlefield for that secondary objective. Now we have an advance from the Storm Guardian on the edge of the board, moving over towards Objective 2. And then there's still a Storm Guardian on the right side of the board, left to move. Looks like we have a charge being initiated from a Storm Guardian, which I don't think he made the charge, so he is going to stay stationary on that right side of the map. Oh, looks like we have Overwatch being fired from the Venom, or the Death Spitter leader on that, from that Storm Guardian who failed his charge. But he decided to move the full distance instead of leaving him on the edge of the battlefield. And we have a Dire Avenger moving around, just touching Objective 4. Trying to decide if he wants to fall back with that Storm Guardian who is in combat with 2 Hormagaunts. Alright, we have another result that just came in. And it was the Heretic Astartes versus the Astra Militarum. Ooh, and this was another close one. It looks like the Astra Militarum took it 15-13 over the Heretic Astartes. And that was essentially basically a Culsis, mostly a Culsis spam Heretic Astartes list with a couple of gunners, a couple of flamers, and Chaos Space Marine Slanesh gunners. That was a Slanesh second sub faction, Legion trait, and the Astra Militarum's team was 2 flamers, 3 hotshot volley guns, Pious Born from Blackstone Fortress is his zealot specialist, a sniper plasma gun, and a leader. So the Astra Militarum took that one 15-13. So that is it for the Asuryani Eldar movements, and now we've got a charge being initiated. And this is on the Flamer. This is the Ravener. So what is the Ravener going to do?
Yes. Fingers crossed. I'll go ahead and do.
So the Ravener just moved off of that objective for some reason. Sorry, what happened there with the Ravener? I just don't know. Sorry?
He charged and I overwatched him miss.
Okay.
In there. I'll just put the warrior into the same one.
So we have a Hormigaunt. Yes, they are Kraken. They can charge even if someone fell back from them. So the Gaunts are charging into the Storm Guardians. And now we've got the Tyranid Warrior who's underneath that walkway. He's now charging the same. And he makes a short, successful charge onto that Storm Guardian near that objective. And he's just going to charge with the final Hormigaunt into that same Storm Guardian who has a flesh wound or 2. Yes. The sooner the better. We're probably going to take a small break just so everyone can go to the bathroom, maybe get something to eat after this round, and then there's 3 more rounds after this in the tournament. I had a request from most of the players that they take a little break after this particular round. Okay, so we've got a charge, metabolic overdrive charge, or no?
Sorry, what just happened there?
So I put a flesh wound on this guardian over here.
In the fight phase?
Yeah.
Okay, we are in the fight phase. And we have a flesh wound being put from this Ravener onto a guardian that's under that walkway. All of these Tyranids charging. It's -2 AP from the Tyranid Warrior. Just a flesh wound. And now we've got Hormagaunts with flesh wounds, seeing what they can do. 1 hit. No wound. And then another Hormagaunt hitting on 6s. Does not hit. Storm Guardian fighting back. Does not wound the warrior. Swinging back and does not hit on the Ravener. Oh, and the Ravener he's using a tactic to fight again with the Ravener near the middle. Re-rolling ones. 3 hits. 2 wounds. 1 goes through. Injury roll. And that is another flesh wound. So now we're trying to see. Now they're calculating the points. This is going to be close. And they're going to let me know what the final score is. They're just talking about it right now. 14 points for the Tyranids. 10-14 for the Tyranids. Wow. Crazy.